Welcome to the Wooten Center. Like I said, this is our 8th Parent Power Group workshop of the spring season. My name is Rebecca Dabbs, and I'm the COVID-19 health educator for the center. If I could ask you, as always, please take a moment to put your name in the chat box with your zip code for a virtual check-in. We're logging this information so we can know how many people that we're impacting in the community, sharing these great resources with. So let me move through. And as always, the Wooten Center is a nonprofit organization founded by Myrtle Rump in 1990 to honor her son who was tragically killed in a drive-by shooting. Our center provides free after-school and summer programs for students in grades 3 through 12 in the South Los Angeles area, as well as programs such as this Parent Power Group workshop to support their families. The workshops are presented in partnership with the Green Foundation and other donors, which can be found on our website at www.wootencenter.org/donors. This is our 8th of the season. Like I said, these are free workshops available to parents, to grandparents, to guardians, or anyone in a supporting role for young children and young adults. They are held, as always, Monday evening, 8 to 7 p.m., and registration is on our website. For the month of May, it is titled Family Wellness Month. That's what we're going to be focusing on. Our upcoming workshops next week are starting a business during the pandemic and budgeting and generating income now. But for tonight's workshop, we're going to be focused on finding a job during pandemic with our wonderful speakers, Leonardo Cablayan.
Right.
Did I say that right, sir? I've been practicing and I hesitated, darn it.
You got it, you got it.
Okay. And Mr. Forrest Riley II. Mr. Cablayan on the left is a nonprofit executive with over 15 years of experience and dedication to youth, community, and economic development. He is currently the Director of Employment Services at the Brotherhood Crusade Youth Source Center, where he and his team of job developers are tasked with providing youth ages 14 to 24 internships, part-time and full-time jobs, simultaneously developing job opportunities and partnerships with employers and potential work sites. Additionally, he's also heads up Brotherhood Crusade's youth entrepreneurial effort with instruction and events that demonstrate entrepreneurship as a viable alternative to creating a productive and secure lifestyle. That's great. He brings with him a number of years in experience leading a national youth financial literacy program, adult financial literacy program, first-time home ownership programming, and homeowner preservation programming during the mortgage crisis in 2007 through 2010. Excellent. He's an active member of Kappa Alpha Phi fraternity, member of the Pasadena Tournament of Roses Association, member of the Pasadena branch of NAACP. He lives in Altadena with his lovely wife, Patrice, and is a father of 3 young adults and 2 beautiful grandchildren. Welcome, welcome. Mr. Forrest Riley II is the Youth Business Service Representative at the South LA AJCC, which is South LA's American Job Center of California, which specializes in workforce development and work readiness programs for individuals of the community. So our 2 speakers are going to be sharing the hour today, and I'm going to let Mr. Leonardo Cablayan start. So I'm going to let you share your screen, sir.
Okay.
And let you do your thing.
All right. Let's see. There I am right there. Get this teed up for you folks. Good. Can everybody see that? All right, good stuff. So good evening, everyone. And Rebecca, thank you so much for inviting me to attend and share some information about Brotherhood Crusade and our Youth Source Center. As you said previously in my long bio, I had no idea it sounded that long. but you know, I'm just totally committed to helping our communities grow. And it starts with our youth, right? Giving them the resources that they need to be successful in school and in life. And, you know, by helping them, we also help our parent body as well, because you can focus on the things that are important to you and your families. And so hope my intent today is to share with you some basic information about Brotherhood Crusade, specifically information about our Youth Source Center and the different resources and programs that are available there. And then my hopes are that some of this stuff will resonate with the parents on the call for their youth. And we'd love to be able to service any of the needs that you may have after you find out what it is that we do. So who is Brotherhood Crusade? And this is a long drawn out description of who we are, but we're an nonprofit organization that started over 50 years ago by Walter Berman and Danny Bakewell Sr. It started out of the civil rights movement with needs, quite frankly, that are very similar to the needs of our community right now. But it was more geared towards civil rights. And for about 15 years now, we've shifted that focus on youth and youth development. We have 3 locations throughout LA. Our corporate headquarters is located on Slauson in Los Angeles. That's the original location. We also have a location that is located on Central, I'm sorry, and 78th, that houses our Boys and Young Men of Color program. And then the office that I work out is where our youth center is located, and we're in the Leimert Park area, right on the corner of Crenshaw and Vernon. And if you guys are familiar with that area, that's the Chase building. Also, the Bakewell family owns that building as well. And so we're located on the ground floor at 4401 Crenshaw Boulevard. So come by and visit us anytime. So we have, like I said, we have a number of different programs that we're involved in with Brotherhood Crusade. We, at the Youth Source Center, there's a Summer Youth Employment Program. There's a Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act program. Our goal is to help folks achieve on a track from education into the career to obtain a middle wage job. And emphasis is on middle wage jobs, anything exceeding $21 an hour. And we like to put youth on a trajectory to be able to achieve that. In addition, there's other mentoring programs, Mentor and Me. There's a GRID program for the younger youth at elementary school into 15 years of age, into the beginnings of high school. There's a brother-to-brother program. There's a huge emphasis here at Brotherhood Crusade for our male population. Not to say that the young ladies aren't important, because we have tons of stuff for the young ladies as well, but we have a specific focus through our Boys and Young Men of Color program and a brother-to-brother male by birth, man by choice is part of the curriculum of that Boys and Young Men of Color program. There's also a junior executive leadership program, pretty much geared towards middle school and high school youth, helping our youth understand and putting them on the trajectory to understand leadership roles, whether it be in the corporate space, nonprofit space, or just leadership while they continue school. So there's that program. I talked to you about our Boys and Young Men of Color program, Bloom, which is a program that started with a partnership with California Community Foundation, a couple of other nonprofit organizations. Once again, it's building a lifetime of options and opportunity for men, one of our other focus programs for young men. There's also a financial literacy and business enrichment program. That kind of program is near and dear to my heart from my previous experience, but we just completed Saturday having 3 of our teams compete in a youth entrepreneurship challenge that was sponsored by Union Bank and NIFTY, which is a nonprofit organization that stands for the National Foundation for Teaching Entrepreneurship. So every year we prepare our youth that are interested in entrepreneurship and starting their own business in a study of entrepreneurship, getting them ready for this competition. And the winner of last Saturday's competition won $2,500 to help start their business. Unfortunately, our teams didn't win, it was highly competitive. But the ultimate goal is not necessarily to win that cash prize, but to teach them, in addition to getting a job, there's also opportunities to create jobs and become an entrepreneur, and having that conversation around financial literacy and business development. So that kind of plays into, I guess, the reason for the conversation today, obtaining jobs in a COVID environment, or a COVID kind of pandemic environment. We also have programs in health and wellness, and we have a huge focus for our youth in performing customer or community service. So there's a number of community and service events that the Brotherhood Crusade does every year. We encourage our youth to participate and volunteer in those. We're involved in a number of different fundraisers and scholarship programs. We encourage our youth not just to take part in those programs, but also to volunteer and learn philanthropy and learn service to their community. So this is a little bit more about what we do, folks. And, like I said before, we like to focus on the youth and help them be successful in school and in life. We know that there's lots of options out there in the community. There's lots of options for activity and engagement, some positive, some not so positive. And we want to make sure that we're keeping them so busy with some of the stuff that we do and some of the stuff that in partnering with organizations like the Wooten Center and others that are out there, to make sure that the kids have more than enough positive activity to keep them busy, and to put them on the trajectory to the things that we know are going to be productive to them in life. So we engage the youth on a numerous number of different programs, and I'll talk a little bit more specifically about those, but just want to talk a little bit about who the leadership is within our organization. We're fortunate to have Sharice Berman Weaver, who is actually the daughter of the founder of our organization. She's been at the helm for over 15 years. Our senior VP in charge of programs is Shakoya Green. We have a director of the Youth Source Center that I work out of. Her name is Zanetta Smith. Like I mentioned before, I'm the director of employment services here at the Youth Source Center. And then you can read all the other names as well. We have a host of case managers, job developers that work with your youth to make sure that they get placed in the right internships and maybe later on part-time and full-time jobs. Case managers that handle the whole life cycle of your youth. So making sure if they need any supportive services, we connect them with those supportive services. If they need any mental health related services, we have referral services to those types of things. There's just a plethora of different types of services that are available here. We even have a college and career ambassador that totally focuses on working with our youth in helping them identify what it is they want to do while they're in high school, and then matriculating into college if that's what they're looking for, or maybe a trade school, or maybe we just had a youth that was adamant about joining the military. So making sure that we can have a good holistic conversation with them about what their choices are, trying to bring to light the amount of choices that are available to them, and working with them and the parents to get the best that they can possibly get as far as alternatives and resources are concerned. Just want to show you this real quick. These are our core values of Brotherhood Crusade: integrity, accountability, compassion, diversity, and commitment. It's important that all of our employees abide by these, but it's also important that, and this is in the curriculum, all the curriculums that we make available to our youth, that they understand what these core values are as well, because we think it's important for them to follow and adhere to these core values. Here at Brotherhood Crusade, like I said, we're getting them ready for both success in school and in life. Of course, at the Youth Source Center, our goal is to get them exposed to the job environment. And so in all of our programming, we encourage a certain dress code. We encourage a certain etiquette and a certain demeanor, even when they're not on the job site. But we don't want it to be the first time that they practice these things is when they get on the job site. So folks come into our center, You know, the young men remove the hoods from their head. They all, from the first person that they meet in the office, are taught to greet folks, introduce themselves if they don't know it, know who they are. Just standard etiquette things that I'm sure you impart upon your youth. We help to reinforce those things as well. But we also want them to dress professionally. So even if they're just coming in here for a meeting, we expect them not to come in flip-flops and shorts and, you know, a do-rag on, but come dressed as if after they get through talking to me, they might meet somebody that might be wanting to hire them right on the spot. You never know when an opportunity is going to present themselves. And so that's kind of the approach that we take. You know, we have a lot of different traits and mantras that we go by. These are just some of them. We try to get our kids to perform great execution in a positive way, just kind of have a chip on their shoulder, right? They have a right to feel proud of who they are and what they want to do and what some of their accomplishments are. So, you know, I don't know if you agree with the phrase, but hopefully you understand what our intent is. We want them to be able to give a lot. We want them to be decision makers. If somebody offers them an opportunity, you know, it's all right to say no, but don't be wishy-washy. So we work with them in helping to make good decisions. And we want them to be highly disciplined, right? Especially with COVID, everybody's showing up on these Zoom calls, and, you know, sometimes they come in when they want to, you know, sometimes they keep their cameras off. We encourage them to keep their cameras on, because if they were in a conference room, they couldn't hide underneath the table, right? Or if they were in an interview, they couldn't not show up at the interview. So, you know, you practice the way you want to play. And that's what we encourage throughout all the different things that we do. Additionally, we have a number of different commitments and things that we expect from program participants. So a commitment to the self, to themselves, a commitment to the process, a commitment to the journey, because, you know, it's not a one-shot type thing. There's a lifestyle, a life cycle, I should say, of a number of different things that we're going to expose them to. So we don't want them to think short-term. We want them to think long-term. Our program goes from ages 14 here at the Youth Center to 24. So even after youth have graduated from high school, maybe even graduated from college, we still work with them and consult with them and stay in touch so that we can continue to track their progress and their success. They have to have a willingness to be the best version of themselves. We don't want them to be anybody else. We're not teaching them to be anybody else. We want them to be the best version of themselves. We're always looking for a mindset change. We want to broaden their scope of the way that they look at the world and develop a mindset change with everything that they do. We want them to learn how to accept feedback and constructive criticism. There's always going to be folks that are going to have a alternative kind of opinion or viewpoint, or might want to say something about how they're performing. I'm sure they're learning this right now in school, but you know, we want them to be open to receiving constructive criticism and be able to provide constructive feedback based on that criticism. And practice vulnerability, showing up, not being afraid to speak your mind, not being afraid to participate. You know, there's no such thing as a stupid question. You know, so, you know, ask questions, get involved. And believe me, it's a journey with a lot of our youth, but it's very rewarding. And the more they get to understand it, they just want more of it because they realize the full potential that lies within them. We're looking for consistency. So, you know, that's a problem, especially with COVID, with a lot of our youth now. If they don't have to show up, you know, they might not, especially with stuff being on Zoom and other virtual platforms. It's a challenge, but we want them to be consistent, because if they continue on with us, there's guaranteed success. And so, you know, that's what all of our job developers do. That's what our case managers do. And everybody on the staff do, is to make calls, keep track, stay in contact with them, and keep them encouraged. We want them to advocate for themselves, and we want them to be accountable, regardless of whatever the situation is. And I'm sure, like I said, these are all attributes and things that you as parents are looking for them to grasp onto. And so we help you do the stuff that you want them to learn. So these are just, not to continue to go over it, but these are just some of the other expectations and attributes that we look for our youth to be able to take on. At the core of what we do is follow these simple steps with self-actualizations, these simple three, the 3 S's I call them. And we always want them to smile, because nobody wants to approach somebody that's got a frown or an angry look on their face. We always want them to speak up. Like I said, advocate for themselves and learn how to ask questions, speak clearly, maintain eye contact, greet people, speak loud enough, all of those different things. And then, you know, you have to adjust that a little bit, but shake hands, you know. When we could shake hands, you know, give a firm handshake, let people know that you're there. Now in the COVID time period, it might be a elbow bump. It might just be, you know, a nod. It might just be some great eye contact, but make sure you're greeting folks, right? We go over, and I won't go through all of this, but we go over how folks should introduce themselves. So whether you're in a live meeting, whether you're on a virtual meeting, whether you're in classroom, as an example, and you're wanting to ask a question, it seems awkward at first, but we always have our youth introduce themselves. They share their affiliation. They talk about the school that they go to, the organization they're a member of, et cetera, et cetera. You know, if they're one-on-one, they might ask the person's name that they're introducing themselves to. You know, all of these things are common etiquette, but we like to think that our youth, as they matriculate through our various programs, grasp these core types of attributes, because that helps them stand out. And if you stand out in a positive manner, then opportunities begin to come your way, and you differentiate yourself from folks that just don't do this, right? And then the main thing is, after somebody has shared with them a resource, has given a presentation, has given them some gifts or provided them with some other resources and things of that nature, we always practice our youth expressing gratitude, either through thank you notes, live gratitude, you know, types of action, you know, if they're in a Zoom call or something like that. But once again, these are things that I'm sure you as parents are imparting in your youth, and we just reinforce that. Excuse me, my light in my office goes off if there's no activity in it after a while. In addition, if they're in an office, we want them to learn how to ask a question. So it goes back to introducing themselves, saying who they are, telling the person that's speaking, thank you for sharing time with us, and then providing context and asking your question. This works well, and believe me, I'll talk a little bit more about it later, but you know, we'll have folks in maybe some of our job development Zoom calls from Paramount Pictures or from Blackline or from AEG or, you know, LA Live or the Rams or the Clippers speak to them. And if we're in a mixed group where there's a bunch of kids that come from different programs that don't do this, when our kids speak up live or on a Zoom call and say, hi, my name is Leo Cablayan. I'm a member of Brotherhood Crusade. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us to talk about the LA Rams. You know, I'm interested in being a sports manager when I get older. My question for you is blah, 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 blah. That just blows them away. And then of like the 40 kids that are on a call, they remember who that young person is. It's just a tremendous, tremendous attribute and habit to learn. So I talked about online engagement. You know, we make sure that youth understand the new etiquette, not so new now, we've been doing it for about a year now, right? But the new etiquette that's important to practice when you're in a virtual environment. So you guys know what they are. Keep your video on, make sure you still dress appropriately, you know, keep your audio off, and don't provide distractions while person's making a presentation. You know, avoid just vacating your space and leaving an empty seat to look at. You know, become familiar with how to utilize the different tools in the virtual space, you know, raising your hand, typing stuff into the chat, et cetera, et cetera. And then when people ask, are there any questions, you know, have a couple questions ready to ask. There's nothing worse than a person giving a presentation. Not that you guys have to ask me any questions, but hopefully you'll have some questions. But there's nothing worse where a presenter or facilitators put together a presentation and then they ask if there's any questions and nobody has any questions, right? So, so all of these are things, like I said, I think you guys are getting the point of the kinds of stuff that we emphasize here for our youth. So some of the core areas of our programming involve civic engagement, professional development, career and college exploration, personal growth and self-actualization. You guys can read what that means. Civic engagement, there's tons of opportunities to engage in the public sector, volunteering at governmental organizations. Some of our youth were involved in the census that just recently completed, getting involved in some of the activities that related to defunding the police and putting together youth advocacy and youth protest types of things at their schools, all of that kind of stuff. So, every week we have something called Cyber Career Cafe. I'll talk more specifically about that. College and career exploration stuff to help complement maybe some of the stuff that's going on at the Wooten Center. And it's all about professional growth and self-actualization. So you guys can read what we do there. Cyber Career Cafe meets every Wednesday for an hour. We, in addition to having our own kinds of activities and things that we do, we have at least 2 or 3 times out of the month, somebody from the corporate space that talks about the different job opportunities that exist within their organization. They might talk about internships that are available. They might have guest speakers that have interesting careers and backgrounds, just exposing youth to what exists. And so, as I gave an example, Paramount Pictures has the last Wednesday of every month, and they bring in the last one they brought in a brother that is a senior VP in charge of television production for Paramount Pictures. So, kids probably didn't even know what that was, but by the time he finished, everybody wanted to be a VP of television production. So those are the types of things we try to expose our youth to. There's a women's group and a men's group. Women's group meets on Thursdays from 4 to 5, and men's group meets on Fridays from 3 to 4. There's virtual events that happen. There's in-person events that happen. So we keep busy here at the Youth Source Center. And so, talking about jobs, there's a couple of different programs with the city and with the county that we're involved in that basically, not to get too much into the weeds, start at the ages based on what you qualify for and what the student's profile looks like, from 14 to 24 years of age. These are paid types of opportunities. For the first one, the Summer Youth Employment Program, they get paid for the whole 120 hours that are allocated to them, the 20 hours of paid training, and then 100 hours of an internship. Our goal is to provide them with the skills, expose them with the knowledge that they need to be ready for an internship. And then hopefully at the end of that 20 hours, we'll match them up with a industry or job that's of interest to them in 100 hours worth of internship work. Sometimes that internship, depending on the age, can transform into a part-time or full-time job. Typically for the 14 to 17-year-old youth, we want them to graduate from high school. So there's not much of an emphasis on putting them into a part-time or full-time job at that point, although in the summer, there might be an opportunity, since the employer has a familiarity with that youth, for them to be able to get hired in a part-time or full-time employment. All of those jobs in both the city and the county opportunities get paid at a rate of $15 an hour, and they're assigned a job developer that will work with them on honing their skill sets as far as job readiness is concerned, and also helping them find a match for them for their internship and maybe later on a job. The other program is the Wioa program, the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. This is for older youth that have more barriers in front of them. So our foster youth, our probation youth, our youth that haven't successfully completed high school yet, and maybe some of our homeless youth. And so the focus is, like I said, on the vulnerable population. Excuse me. Pay rate and programming is still the same, 120 hours of training, 120 hours of training and internship opportunities. If they haven't completed their high school diploma, then putting them in contact with resources that can help them complete that high school matriculation and then move into an internship. These youth are, like I said, from 16 to 24, and we're hoping to get them back on their feet, back focused and ready to go. So the process is, if you're interested in any of these programs, there's an intake process every Monday and Wednesday. After intake, we kind of determine where you're qualified for, what your profile looks like, and align you with the appropriate program. Then there's an orientation or onboarding that takes place where you'll get all of your financial paperwork done, your tax documents, verification of ID and work permits for high school age youth. All of that stuff is put together. Additional paperwork is filled out, and then you're put into the program. So kind of talked about that as well. The job developer pretty much works with them on an individual employment plan. Their case manager actually works with them on an individual plan as well. That's kind of more holistic. We really want to understand what the youth are interested in doing, what their goals and aspirations are, what their environment, both at home and at school, currently looks like. We have them develop resumes and then work with them on an ongoing basis to kind of fine tune those resumes, making sure that they're ready to go, get them ready in a kind of a mock interview type process, having them practice being in interviews before they show up at the job and don't know what to say or may say something that might get them or have them lose out on the opportunity. We want to set them up for success as much as we possibly can, and then placement. So I kind of talked a little bit about the process for how to get an internship. If they go through the processes or the two programs that I just talked to you about, our intent is to place them in an internship. And in addition to readying the youth, the job developers are also out there trying to find various types of internship opportunities. So, we're looking at everything in every industry, trying to give them as great of an opportunity to select something that has an interest to them. Sometimes they don't know what they're interested in doing, and that's okay as well, because it's all about the experience. It's all about the resource and the willingness to learn. And so we just try and plug them into those opportunities as best we can. I don't know, I feel like I've been talking a lot, and Rebecca, I don't know how I am on time. I don't want to suck up all the time, but this is some more detail with regards to the internship process. I talked about the details with regards to what a program year kind of looks like. So depending on the program, they may get paid for the training, and they may not. If it's youth your age, your student's age, they will get paid for both the training and for the internship. If they're a little bit older, they might, if they're going through a life skills program, they might not get paid for the training, but they'll get paid 100 hours for their internship. But you can see some of the other details about what's going on here. So anyway, I think I am done. And I'll
Thank you
open it up
so
to questions,
much,
or you want to wait until after Mr. Riley's presentation and everybody can ask questions at the same time?
I think that would be best if you all are okay with that. And as soon as I say that, I'm going to ask you a question. First, I want to thank you so much. Don't feel rushed. This is some valuable resources, and I don't want to rush you. So I hope you all are okay. We're definitely going to be going over our hour tonight, but this stuff is great, and I want to give you an opportunity to share everything that you have. and also ask you, do you have a flyer that we can share with our parents, maybe post it on our Instagram page or our Facebook page? I think that would be very helpful to those participants who couldn't be here tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll send you a couple of different pieces of collateral information, some flyers that I think will be helpful. And then what I can do also, because we always have different types of programs that don't require you really to be enrolled in our program, but it's open to anyone that's interested in participating. And so as those things become available, Rebecca, I'll make sure to put you on the mailing list and send it out, and then you can blast it out to your parent body and student body.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you so much for sharing those resources. Like I said, if it's okay with you all, we're going to share few questions at the end to give our speakers an opportunity to share. And then, I mean, I have a few questions already that I would like to ask, but I want to give Mr. Riley an opportunity to share his resources as well. He is the South LA America's Job Center of California. Mr. Riley, would you like to share your slides? I'm going to make you co-host.
Thank you.
And let me know if you got that. If you need support, I have your presentation on my end. I can pull it up and navigate for you.
Okay, thank you. I will. Thank you, Rebecca. And Leo, thank you for presenting that information. That's very valuable. And I love how as work sources, we're all just here for one common goal and to just really help the community. And I love that we come together. So thank you guys for letting me present today. And I'm going to start off with my slides. So my name is Forrest Riley II, and give me 1 second. Right here. So my name is Forrest Riley II, and it's loading. So let me get that together. And I work for the South Los Angeles America's Job Center, AJCC. And as of right now, we are co-located at Southwest College. So we are on the same campus as the Career and Development Center. So we have that partnership, which has been very, very fruitful to helping our youth and also adults in the community. So I'm going to give you an overview of what our program is about. So typically this is the PowerPoint we use for our orientations, okay? So next, so these are our objectives. So we're just gonna go over our program services. We're gonna talk about what Wioa is, our eligibility requirements, our enrollment process, and different things that is expected of ourselves and our youth and adults that attend our program, okay? So what is an AJCC? So everybody kind of hears this long name and they're like, oh, what is an AJCC? It's America's Job Centers of California. And they don't quite know what it is. But AJCC is an America's Job Center of California. We are a job resource center that provides comprehensive services to both job seekers and employers that are looking to find qualified candidates, and also just youth and adults who are looking to kind of get into the workforce and to just have those resources. So we basically provide those to them to be able to meet their goals of trying to either obtain employment, get a post-secondary education, maybe completing a training. Maybe you want to do truck driving or something along those lines. And we help with that, okay? So we're a resource center across the board that helps with just about everything in the workforce area. Okay. Next, so these are our programs. So like I said, we're a resource center. So that means that we have a lot of resources. Okay. So we help adults and dislocated workers under the Wioa Act. We have a youth program, which is similar to Brotherhood Crusade. We help from ages 14 to 24. We have our reentry program, which is on campus as well. It's called Invest. So they help former probation, youth and adults. So 18 plus, they help them get jobs as well and get back into the workforce. And then we also partner with EDD, which is Employment Development Department. So it's been, honestly, EDD has been very instrumental in helping us, and likewise during this pandemic. So we help with just about everything from unemployment to our veterans as well, and our job corps. And also we help, we have a kind of a big presence within the senior community as well. Okay. So you can kind of see that right there. Okay. And our resource center, since we're co-located at Southwest, we have a big center to be able to help not only the students on campus, but our participants to come in. We have a lot of walk-ins. We also help, like I said, just anybody in the community willing to come out. So we give them access to our computers, printers, phones, anything like that. No fax machines are a little old school, but we can help if that's what some businesses still take. We also give them help with job search. So we have a lot of leads, and since we partner with a lot of businesses and try to get these leads, we post them, we have them out there, then we also can assist them as well. But pretty much we have a computer center, and the youth and adults can kind of come in at their own leisure and use our resources that we have there. And then we also have recruitments and job fairs, which, since I'm a BSR, that's mainly where I come in to help foster more jobs and foster more partnerships. And we also have workshops. So we have work readiness workshops that'll help get all of the youth and adults the tools and everything they would need. And then we also have CalJobs access. So CalJobs is one big portal basically to be able to track and keep track of caseloads, as well as job leads, and what other participants are doing. So you can apply for job openings, you have trainings, and you have labor market information. So right now, the labor market information might be nursing, like the medical field, construction, also finance. Like those are some of the biggest things in the high growth sector that are booming right now because of the turn that our economy is taking right now and due to the pandemic. So we have all of that information readily available on CalJobs. So CalJobs is very instrumental in helping our participants find employment and get them the tools that they need to stay and be successful. Okay, and these are our workshops. So these are standard job readiness workshops. So we have job search strategies, resume writing, interview techniques, learn how to use your transferable skills, mock interviews, networking, LinkedIn, life skills and personal growth, financial literacy, and entrepreneurial workshops as well. So one thing that we really try to harp on, especially as myself, is transferable skills. So for myself, I played college baseball. So I played all 4 years at Dominguez. So there's a lot of skills that I learned from being on the baseball field and on that diamond that can transfer into the workforce. And I try to use that with my youth and my adults who are in the program. So whether it be on time to practice, you know, making sure you're holding yourself accountable, making sure you have your leadership, making sure you're vocal, you know, just different things that you learn that you can take from even just, let's say, babysitting, or take from just everyday life that you can transfer and use those skills to the workforce. A lot of youth come in and they might have never worked a job. So I always ask them, like, hey, have you ever, have you ever babysat? You know, have you ever taken out the trash? Have you ever washed dishes? And then I'm like, you took out the trash, you're a sanitation worker. You know, you wash dishes, you're a dishwasher. You know, you watched your little sibling, you're a nanny. So you can use those skills to be able to put in your resume and use those to foster, you know, like I said, more leads. You know, you can get more job opportunities and all that just by having and recognizing those skills. And then also, like I said, mock interviews help out a lot as well. Just getting comfortable speaking in front of people, getting comfortable with just everything under the sun, you know, being in that environment. So these are our workshops, and we typically try to make sure that all our youth and adults partake in all of these. Okay. And then we're also an equal opportunity employer. So regardless of anything that you have going on, we are here to not pass judgment or anything. We are here to help. So making sure that you come in, whatever you might need, we are here to help you. You know, don't ever stray away. You guys, our doors are open to anybody in the community that needs our assistance. And that's what we're here for. And that's what, you know, we pride ourselves on. So we're all equal opportunity. And then, like I mentioned earlier, Wioa. So Wioa is kind of, it's a kind of like fancy name for Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. So the technical definition or term for Wioa is it's designed to help job seekers access employment, education, training, and supportive services to succeed in the labor market and to match employers with the skilled workers they need to compete in the global economy. So all that is saying is that Wioa is designed to help individuals who are looking for jobs get placed in the jobs and match those with the employers that are also looking for the same thing. So, you know, we play the middleman. You know, you have someone, there's something that someone's looking for, and there's someone that's something they're trying to get, and then we kind of just match them up together. So we're matchmakers, I would say. So with that being said, Wioa utilizes the workshops that we have already in our center and that we model after. Okay, and I can explain the short-term training and on-the-job training a little later. And then supportive services are like gas cards, transportation, clothing, anything you might need to help better yourself for the workforce and you getting that job and getting hired. That's what matters. And that's what Wioa is all about. And then our eligibility requirements. So each program is different. So our adults is just obviously for 18 plus, you know, you can be 18 all the way to 107. You will be eligible for our program. Also youth services is a little less. So it's 14 to 24. And you have to have the legal right to work in the United States. You have to be registered with selective services for males, and males between the ages of 18 and 26 must be registered. So with those selective services, and we can help with all that verification. It's super easy. We can help, and then also being a resident of Los Angeles County. So the biggest thing is just being a resident of Los Angeles County, because we are a county funded program, and that's where all our resources come from. So with that being said, just making sure that that you're in Los Angeles County. Okay. And then these are individuals who get priority service. So just like vets, anybody who's associated with like the U.S. vets, public assistance recipients, low income individuals, laid off individuals, or basic skills deficient. So those are youth or adults that we might say that have barriers. So all these get like priority services. And like I said, we help everybody no matter what. So these are some of the individuals that we help within our program and services. And these are enrollment steps. So a lot of people ask us like, so like it sounds good information. It sounds like good. How can we get in the program? So you attend an orientation like this. So hence why I'm giving you guys this orientation. So you kind of have a rundown. So you already did step 1. And then step 2 is this completing a CASAS assessment, which is just a basic math and reading test. So it's not something you have to study for. It's kind of things that you might already know, and that, let's say, just information that you have access to just as being, let's say, going to school or anything like that. And then you take one of those, you get assessed, and then you attend an enrollment appointment with one of our career coaches. So we have a tier system, and it goes 1, 2, 3. And once you complete those, you will be enrolled. And from there, we will go into workshops. And then from there, get an employee number. And then boom, you're off to your internship for youth. And then adults, you kind of have to take another step. But that is to speak with an adult career coach. Okay. So these are our steps. And then what is a CASAS? So again, it's just a basic math and reading test. Is just to assess your skills in math and reading, obviously. And if you did need help with it, or if you did want to study, which you don't have to, but if you did, these are all our resources for math and reading testing. And then also we can help you with mock tests, and we can help you with problems and word problems if you felt like you did need that extra help. Okay. And then this is our short-term training. So this slide is typically for adults and adults only. So 18 plus. Training just refers to anything that's that, like I mentioned before, is like truck driving, like HVAC, like anything that will require like a licensing or a certification. You come into the program, and our career coaches will help you assess like, hey, like what would you want to do? You know, are you interested in this? Are you interested in that? And from there, you can sign up for a training, 2 weeks to a year, and you will be put into school, and you will be helped through, like I said, conducting tests within the school, and you will be on your way to getting those licenses or trainings that you might want. Okay, and these are on a first come, first serve basis. So making sure, like, if you do enroll in our program and you are an adult, let's say 18 plus, and this is something that interests you, you should definitely bring it up to your career coach that you will be paired with. And co-enrollment. Okay, so co-enrollment, this is, you guys don't really have to worry about this too much, but if you did want to know, it helps us to know, like, if you were at a previous AJC or just another program, maybe kind of like ours, it just helps us kind of figure out, like, hey, like, what can we do? How can we help you further? Do you need another internship if you are a youth? Or do you need job placement? Do you need post-secondary if you're an adult? Do you need training? Do you need job leads? It'd be like, what would you need? So co-enrollment kind of helps us figure that out. And then, like I said, it's all on a case-by-case basis. So not everybody can be co-enrolled. So let's say if you wanted to do training and an internship, if you fall into that age bracket, you can do both. It's just that you have to be eligible if you can do both. Okay. And then services can't be duplicated. So if you did do it at another program or AJCC, might not be able to help you, but we will for sure find a different way to help you if that first plan A doesn't work. You know, we always have plan B, plan C, all the way to plan Z, and then we go and redo the alphabet just to make sure we help our participants, because that's what we're here for. Okay. And then our expectations. Okay. So these are some of the things that we speak with our participants about. So just being committed to job searching. So one of the biggest things is, you know, finding a job. Sometimes it can be a little daunting task, or it can be a little hard, you know, when you want money and you want to work, and sometimes things don't always pan out in your way, but you have to still be committed to it, because, you know, those who persevere sometimes will end up on the other side of glory, you know. So making sure that you are job searching, you're going to be committed to that, because we're going to be committed to you. We just need you to be committed to yourself and committed to that. Okay. And then you also need to just attend our workshops and appointments, because if you do make an appointment and let's say, you know, you don't make it, obviously you understand things happen and that's totally fine. But if you're not attending an appointment because you just don't want to come, that takes time away from other participants that could have had that slot. So making sure that when you do sign up, you have that commitment. The biggest thing throughout this whole expectations is commitment. When you make that commitment, you go full throttle. Okay. Being able to be available for full-time employment. I mean, that's always up to our participants' discretion. Just making sure that if you do want to do that, if you do want to do full-time employment, that's great. If part-time is something that you're also available for, that's also great too. Okay. Maintaining communication with the career coach, because your career coach will help you get the job, you know, help you with different things you might need. And as myself, a business services rep, you would also want to make sure you're in contact with me, because any new job leads, anything that I come across, I will make sure that you have as a participant. So just making sure that you are always in the loop and you keep us in the loop to everything. And also being able to pass a drug test. So certain jobs, obviously, you know, even though things are passed in California, some jobs are still not up to date with that. So I would say just, you know, across the board, making sure that you can pass one. I don't pass judgment on anything or anybody or what they do, but just making sure that you can pass that drug test for the job that you are applying for. Okay. And just be honest with your career coach, the one that you're going to be meeting with, about anything that's happened in your life as far as like misdemeanors or felonies, because, you know, we have access to different resources within the community that can help. You know, we're all here to help. We're not here to do anything besides helping you. Okay. So anything that happens, like, just let us know, just talk with us, be transparent, just talk to us, because like I said, 9 times out of 10, we can help you. We can help you with something if you just let us know what it is. Okay. And then there's also, we can also refer you to other programs because of these things, if you let us know. Okay. So these are our expectations in our program. And then this is our additional information. So we're co-located at Southwest College. So this is our office hours, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and we're closed on all federal holidays. And if you did have any questions, like you kind of want to know further about Cal Jobs or the AJCC, or to even kind of just know about our AJCC, these are our websites that we frequent and that we use. And then we also have an Instagram. I'm not too sure what that is just yet, but we have a lot of buzz on IG. So just making sure that we will also put that up as well as far as our AJCC, okay? And that's it. So that's all. If you got any questions, segue into questions now, or for Rebecca, whatever's next. So thank you for letting me share. I really appreciate you guys and your time.
Thank you so much, sir. So yeah, now it's question time. But before we do, Mr. Riley, do you have a flyer that we could share with our parents? Maybe share it on our Instagram page or our Facebook page for the programs and the opportunities with your organization?
Yes, we do. So I can send you a list of our different programs, our investment program, our youth program, and our program. And then I'll also send you some of our flyers within Southwest College, so you all can all work together. So I will send you those ASAP.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So let's see. I think we might in the chat. So does anyone have a question? Do you want to post it in the chat and I could ask on your behalf? I want to really open the floor to our parents and our youth who are participating with us this evening. Please feel free. Go ahead and pop yourself off mute if you want to raise your hand. While we're waiting, Mr. Cablayan, can I ask you a question about the power skills? Those are great, but speaking up can be really hard, especially for youth. How do you help the youth find their voice?
Yeah, so we're patient, right? And we just put it in and put the youth in an environment where they're feeling comfortable. We don't press. We just continue to emphasize and think of creative ways. Sometimes it's through opening exercises. And so we like to practice some of the stuff that I just shared with you through, maybe if we're starting a meeting, everybody just sharing their name and having a fun thing to mention about what they did over the weekend or what their favorite hobbies are. All of that stuff kind of subliminally works to show them how they can talk in group settings and how they can express themselves. And of course, for someone that's introverted or a little shy or whatever, it might take a little while longer, but there's no rush. But we are always supportive in a positive way of encouraging them to, take that extra step and continue to do it. And like I said, we put them in environments where it's fun, so they'll want to talk about something.
Right. I think hearing the others in their group kind of speak and providing a place for them to speak in a safe, encouraging, welcoming environment just makes it so much easier for them. That's great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I have another question, a community service. I think that is a really great aspect to the program. Can you give us some examples of some of the volunteer opportunities that the participants get to engage in or have opportunities to engage in?
Sure. So some of it's through programming and specific actual activities, and others is just they might want to just come and hang out at the Youth Source Center and help us with some work here. Or we have an annual Christmas event. We just finished an annual food drive and clothing drive. And so we'll always invite our youth to participate in those types of events. But more formally, through the mayor's office, there's a number of different youth advisory councils that are available. And so for youth that are interested in those types of things, we might refer them to those things. There's other things that other nonprofit organizations are doing or other community-based organizations are doing that are looking for youth to participate in forums and and speaking engagements and retreats and things of that nature. So it's just building and making them aware of all these different things, and they can choose and select what resonates with them the best. So, you know, volunteerism is at the core of what we do here at Brotherhood Crusade. So we want our youth to be able to do that as well.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions for Mr. Cablayan? I mean, he's going to share his flyer. You all can rewatch this video and pick up any tidbit that you didn't get, but now's your opportunity to kind of ask those questions that maybe weren't touched on during the presentation. But if you are still thinking about it, then Mr. Riley, is that okay if I ask you a few questions about your program?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, thank you. So when you talked about the transferable skills, that is such a great aspect, because a lot of times it's like, I don't even know what I know. I don't have any skills. But then when you start talking to especially youth, even young adults, even, you know, mature adults, they realize that they do have more skills than they realized. Do the individuals work with their career coaches to kind of develop those and write those down, or how does that work?
So typically what happens is, like, aside from our workshops, I personally meet with all of the youth. So, like, the youth resource, I meet with them personally. So it's not 300 kids, I meet with all 300, right? So I take it upon myself to really ask them within my skills, talking to them like, hey, what have you done? And I just ask them, like, so, you know, just anything that they've done, and I have them typically write it down, and I have them make them assess it for themselves. And then once they start realizing that, I find, like, paths that can align with what they, and 9 times out of 10, they're like, wow, I know that could be considered a skill. I'm like, yeah, it is. So
Mr. Riley.
You have on your resume, now you know what you're capable of, and you know that this job matters.
Mr. Riley, I don't want to be rude and cut you off, but I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
What you've been doing for like past 5 years.
Maybe it's on my end.
You have all the necessary things to kind of like compete and do this. So, oh, okay. Sorry about that.
No. I didn't want to be rude and interrupt you, and I was thinking, oh shoot, maybe it's my end.
Figure that out. So, yeah. So they'll more likely figure out and kind of try to plan out where they might want to work, what they want to do.
I see that you muted yourself, but your voice was still going. So maybe if you could respond in the chat. Can you tell us how the CASAS assessment is done? Is that done directly? Does it have to be done on your site, or can that be done, especially because of COVID and the restriction, can that be done for the participants at home? Well, he's typing the response in the chat, y'all. Do you have any questions? I don't want to.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Are you, hello? Are you?
You're still a little delayed. It's Monday. It's Monday. So, any more questions before we move on? Oh, so Mr. Riley responded.
Okay.
If you haven't seen the chat.
I hope you can hear me now, but yeah, that's all the goes and everything.
Thank you, sir. So for you all who didn't read it in the chat, the assessment's normally done on site, but because of the COVID restrictions, it can be done virtually, just an FYI. So I don't want to put a stop to these Q&As, but I'm gonna go ahead and move forward just out of respect for our speakers' time, out of respect for our participants' time. So first I wanna say thank you. This is great resources. I really appreciate you all taking time out of your Monday evening to share this with the community, the Wooten community. We have some youth on listening in this evening, so you're really impacting the people who you typically serve. We're getting lots of thank yous in the chat as well. So thank you for speaking with us. I will share out all of the resources that you want me to share out, because I think that this is an opportunity for us to collaborate and share the goods with the community. So please feel free to send me anything you have, and I'll make sure that it goes to our participants who are with us this evening, as well as going to our social media pages and maybe even out in our newsletter. So thank you. So as you all know, I'm the COVID-19 health educator, and now that I have a captive audience, I just want to share some great resources with you all from the County of Los Angeles Department of Public Health. As vaccines are being rolled out, it's important to remember that testing for COVID helps keep the surge down, helps keep our numbers down, which means that we can open up, we could have those football games on January 1st, and knowing your status can help reduce the spread, right? So just as a reminder, testings are available throughout LA County. For more information, go to www.covidhealthla.org. And as I said, testing matters, right? So please keep testing rates low by getting tested. They're free. They're also confidential. They're all over the county, like I said. And you should get tested if you experience any symptoms of COVID. And we kind of all know the symptoms, right? Fever, cough, headache, fatigue. And also if you've been exposed to somebody who tested positive, it's important to go and get tested. For more information on why testing is still important, please visit covidhealthla.org. And lastly, if you need any COVID-19 related support services, one of our partners, the Green Foundation, is a great resource. Please contact them at 323-229-3411 or email them at info@thegreenfoundation.net. That is all we have, sirs. Mr. Riley, Mr. Cablayan, thank you so much. Wooten community, thank you for coming out. We really appreciate you taking the time to be here this evening.
Thank the two of you for speaking.
Thanks for having us, you guys. And I put my email in the chat, but if you need me for anything, if any of those programs resonated with anybody on the Zoom call today, please contact Rebecca, and I'll be happy to follow up in any capacity that you'd like.
Yes, please do. So I have your two emails. Do I have permission to share it out with the appropriate people should it come up?
Absolutely. Tell a friend.
Tell a friend, and then tell the other friend and the other friend.
That's right.
Thank you all. Have a great evening. Be safe. Be well.
Take care.
Good night.
Good night.